now is thank you for everyone for staying with us as we move into, how we can explore driving real change to eliminate restrictive practices. So this next part of the session is all about you. We want to hear your insight, your experiences, and your ideas for how we move forward. We have two key questions to guide this conversation. So I'll introduce each question and share some prompts to get you thinking. You have many options for sharing your ideas. You can use the Q&A function that's in Zoom. You can use the Zoom whiteboard, which the link will be posted into the chat. Or if you want, you can take a moment to reflect and follow up with your thoughts via email after the event. So the first question we want to ask is about research and evidence gaps. What are the unanswered questions? What do we need a deeper understanding of to enable the elimination of restrictive practices? And to help you frame your thinking, here are a few prompts. What information is missing that would help service providers, carers, or families support people with disability without using restrictive practices? And are there other areas where people's lived experiences are not being captured or understood in the current research? Take a moment now to reflect and share your thoughts. We'll collect all of your ideas and include them in the event proceedings to guide future research priorities. And I'll add there too that all of your questions today, even though we may not get to them or have not got to them, we want to respond to them really fully, and we'll be doing so after the event. We want to make sure you give you a full and proper response. So that is why we haven't been able to get to all of them, but we will be doing so. So just back to those questions. What information is missing that would help service providers, carers, or families support people with disability without using restrictive practices? And are there areas where people's lived experiences are not being captured or understood in the current research? So just having a look for some of the responses that are coming in, there's a few more questions that have been added, which we will definitely be capturing. And just noting that recent comments are interested in helping by providing experience and skills as a physiotherapy researcher and like to be part of research. Yes, certainly we will be capturing that and happy to follow up with you. Andrew has said an area I would like to see more researching in is restrictive practices in employment. As a highly educated professional with disabilities, I've been subject to a number of practices resulting in psychosocial disability. Thank you very much, Andrew, for sharing your experience. Really appreciate very much hearing directly from you about your experiences. So just allowing you a little bit of time to be able to share your thoughts into the Zoom whiteboard or into the Q&A as you feel free, or even if you want to start collecting your thoughts to be able to share them with us by email later. Someone has added also in the chat that restrictive practices in mental health is not being acted upon. So obviously something that needs to further investigation as well as understanding. And whether adequate staff to person ratios would assist in eliminating restrictive practices. Thank you very much to the person who just shared that. So just looking at the second question that we really would love to hear from you about is using existing evidence. Our second question focuses on the evidence and research we already have. What do we know isn't being put into practice? What specific research findings, reports, tools, or strategies do you know of that could help eliminate restrictive practices but aren't being widely used. Can you share examples or ideas about why they aren't being applied and what could help make them more accessible or impactful? So, what tools or resources would help service providers and regulators apply existing research to their work? How can we use research findings to encourage or require change? Should we focus on rewards or carrots or rules to enforcement sticks? And what do regulators and policymakers need to make evidence based decisions? What kind of support, like training, resources, or collaboration, would help providers and regulators put evidence into action? Please continue to share your ideas, again through the Q&A or the Zoom whiteboard, and we'll summarise these and consider these as ideas as part of our post-event outcomes. So again, just having a look at the chat to see what is coming in. Supported decision-making and mental health. I think that was a note from earlier. It's something that is really important. From the whiteboard, peer support for families. Looks like the whiteboard is now being seen. People are starting to add their comments there. Thank you very much. And carer and family inclusion, really important. Value for money from the NDIS is extremely concerning approach for people that may be subject to restrictive practices. Someone said that they would like to see research into people with disability. Sorry, my screen just moved a little bit and I'm vision impaired, so just catching up there. I would like to see research into to people with disability who are non-verbal and often high support needs and unable to use functional communication. So a bit more focus in that area. The fact that service delivery has become more market-based and the medical model has been replaced by a corporate model is another challenge being faced. Unions need education on the harm caused by restrictive practices as they are drivers of use. Another person has added there into the chat. So we'd love for you to continue adding your thoughtful inputs and comments and experiences, and we will be collecting these and they will be crucial in shaping how we mobilise evidence for action. And I really want to thank all of you for making those contributions and especially for those of you sharing experiences. The insights and ideas that you've shared today are really valuable. And if you think of anything else later, please don't hesitate to email the NDRP team at info@ndrp.org.au. Everything you've shared will be considered as part of the event proceedings and into broader efforts to eliminate restrictive practices. We'll also be including responses without names in the proceedings document, so your voice will continue to inform this work beyond today.